Good evening. My name is Christina Dixon. I don't really need this, but the things that I would like to gain from this conference is a strong networking foundation and interviewing skills, which we went over today, which was very helpful, and good job.
Yeah, great. Absolutely. That's good, yeah.
I would have to say meaningful relationships, because mentorship, what he spoke about before, is what helps you grow and how it helps you to understand the things that you don't understand, and people that's been there help you to understand what path you need to go to. So meaningful relationships, not just for your professional development, but your personal development, and I've already got some of that now, so that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, yes.
My name is Antonia Montanez from Stony Brook University, and I would have to say something that's very important to me is gaining confidence here. One thing I've learned is that some of the executives here have gone through the same things I have, and hearing the stories and the experiences that they undergo is like encouraging to me.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for saying that. Okay, two more, yeah.
Hi, my name is Lakeisha Woodley. I'm from Florida A&M University. And one of the things that I really want to take from this conference is cultivating my brand. Learning how to market myself.
Yep.
And I am a graduating senior, so gaining employment.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. One more, yeah.
Good evening, my name is Meshach Jackson, North Carolina A&T State University. I would really like to be able to build my character and understand who I am, and basically help people understand who I am as well.
Great. So whether you got to say it out loud to everybody, and those of you who did, by the way, just throughout the whole thing, I just want to acknowledge all of you who raised your hands and stood up. It takes some courage just to do that. How many of you noticed when you stood up and said your name and started talking, you felt your heart going like this? Anybody feel that? Yeah. But you know, the definition of courage isn't that there's no fear. It's that we feel the fear and we do it anyway. And that's, by the way, how you build your capacity for courage and you create growth and expansion in your life. This is for all of us, regardless of how young or old we are. We come up to our edge in life. And you may notice already today you've come up to your own edge. Or throughout the next 3 days you will. Your edge is a place where you start to get a little, you feel your heart racing, you start to doubt yourself a little. It's like the edge of a cliff. You look over the cliff and you go, I don't know. But all you got to do if you want to grow, you want to learn, you want to expand, is you just stick your foot a little bit out over the edge. Just a little bit. And you have enough faith and you hang on, and you know what happens? The cliff grows. And then all of a sudden you feel better and you go, okay. And then you do just a little bit more. And then the cliff grows. And you do just a little bit more, and it grows. And all of a sudden, it doesn't seem like it, but you're way out here, and you look back and you go, I was way over there. You ever looked at a picture of yourself when you were 10 years old? You thought you were big then too, right? It's what happens. We grow. And that's how we grow mentally, emotionally, is by challenging ourselves. So let me say a few things, and then I'll close up with a story just to wrap this up. First thing, I just want to acknowledge everybody that's in this room. Those of you who got invited to be here, it's a big honor and an acknowledgement of you, right? And those of you who are a part of this organization and have created this organization and are celebrating your 30th year as an organization have a lot to be proud of. Just by me being here now for the last hour and a half, impressed and inspired by who's in this room and the conversation that's happening in this room. And that's a function of the 6 men who started this organization and all of you who've continued to build the organization. So my invitation to all of you throughout the next 3 days, as you're doing all the good work you're going to do in conversations and mentorship and having laughs and sharing ideas and all that stuff, is you consciously take time, as I know is part of the theme for this conference, but to acknowledge yourselves, appreciate yourselves. Because that's really the foundation for everything I've been talking about tonight in terms of authenticity. It's really about how do we appreciate ourselves genuinely. It's not about bragging. It's not about being better than anybody else. It's about appreciating ourselves. The books I've written, all the work that I do fundamentally comes down to that core message, that if you and I can start to learn how to genuinely value and appreciate ourselves more, everything in our lives, our relationships, our work, our hopes and dreams, all those things tend to flow much more easily when that happens. When we're busy being really critical of ourselves, hard on ourselves, beating ourselves up, Makes life way more difficult than it needs to be. So this final story that I'm going to share is about that. But my invitation to you as I share this story is to just think about yourself, wherever you are in your life and career at this moment. And just take some time over the next 3 days as you're doing all the different things you're going to do at this conference. And pat yourself on the back. So before I share this last story, a couple questions. First question is, just tonight here in this session, did you have a little fun? Did you have some fun? Okay, good. Keep having fun throughout the whole conference. That's how you learn. I think keeps your mind and your heart open when you're having some fun. Second question is, did you get a few thoughts or a few ideas just from what we talked about here tonight that you can use not only at the conference, but moving forward after this? Okay. Because here's the value of any conference like this. It's the relationships you make, absolutely, and it's what you take away from here and actually put into practice in your life. That's where it'll make a difference. The next 3 days will probably be a lot of fun and really interesting, and you'll meet great people, but then what are you going to do when you go home? What are you guys going to do when you go back to work and take this with you? That's the key. Now, I'll stick around. I know there's some food here, and you guys are going to be eating, but if you want to chat with me after, I'm happy to chat with you. I did bring a few books. They're out there on the table. If any of you are interested in purchasing those, I'm happy to sign them. And some of you, how many of you last year signed up on my email newsletter? Anybody do that? A few of you? Yeah? I have a free email newsletter that I write a blog post like every week, every other week, and it's free. If you're interested in that, there's a little sign-up sheet out there. Just put your name and email address on it, and we can stay in touch that way. Just some reminders of some of the stuff that we talk about. So, my wife and I, as I said, have 2 little girls. Samantha's 6, and Rosie is 3.5. And being a father's been an interesting experience for me, to say the least. As any of you in here who have children probably can attest to. It's definitely been a ride. And you know, I was really scared to have kids. My parents split up when I was 3, and my mom never remarried, so I never really had a model for that growing up. And my wife, Michelle, and I were together for a few years and was really in love and wanted to get married, but I was scared to do it because I thought, you know, I don't know if I'm up for it. And thankfully, I had some good mentorship and some good coaching and some good support, and even though I felt the fear, I did it anyway. And it's been, you know, one of the most incredible experiences of my life so far, and we're still just in the early stages of it with a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. But there's something that my girls teach me so much. I learn from them all the time, which I'm amazed by. And there's something I started doing with my girls about a year ago. I actually just wrote about this in my blog. For those of you who are on my newsletter list, I wrote about it just last week. But I started playing this game with my girls. And I don't even remember exactly how it started, but once we started doing it, we do it all the time now. And here's how the game goes. I'll say to one of them, "How much does Daddy love you?" And here's how they respond. They go like this. They say, "This much." I say, "That's right." And then I ask them a really important question. I say, "And how come I love you so much?" And you know what their response is? "Because I'm me." Because I'm me. And I do it with them, and I do it for them because I want them to get that message. That I don't just love them because they're cute. I don't just love them when they do the right thing or follow the rules or whatever, accomplish the thing. But I say it as much for them as I say it for myself. Because I didn't really get that message growing up. And I grew up a lot thinking that I had to achieve and perform and produce and do something great so then I could have people love and approve of me. And what I realized is it set up a dynamic in my own life, and maybe some of you can relate to this, that I was constantly pushing myself and thinking I had to achieve the next thing and the next thing and the next thing in order to be accepted. And it's something I'm still working through and working on. And so when I say that to my girls, I want them to get that message from me, but I also want to hear the message myself. And it's the message I want to leave each and every one of you with tonight. That I hope you get the job you want and achieve what you want to achieve, or those of you working wherever you are, get the next promotion or have the big success with your team or whatever, go for it. I'm all about people achieving their dreams and their goals, absolutely. But my main message to you tonight is that whether that happens or not, what can you find within yourself to appreciate no matter what? That's what true authenticity is about, believing in ourselves, whether we win the game or we lose the game. Being proud of who we are, regardless of the circumstances. That's what authenticity is really about. Thank you very much. Thank you.